What is up? Welcome to episode 17 of Etsy Jam. Allison joins us this week from SideKickPortraits. She's an artist and illustrator who digitally paints portraits of pets. Allison got her start with e-commerce on Fiverr, but she transitioned to Etsy last December and hasn't looked back since. She talks about a lot of what worked for her, like focusing on solid SEO keywords, putting her digital paintings into frames for her listing photos, offering upsell options in her listings, jumpstarting reviews with coupons, her mailing list, and more. What is up, guys? Welcome to episode 17 of Etsy Jam. Today we have Allison with us from SideKickPortraits. Hey, Allison. And Allison actually didn't get started straight off the bat on Etsy. She had a shop on Fiverr where she sold her digital paintings that she does. Do you want to talk a little bit about that, Allison, and kind of how you made that transition from your Fiverr shop to your Etsy shop?
Yeah, totally. So, I've been freelance illustrator and artist for a while now, and I've done all kinds of stuff. Like I started with I've done like book covers and like people hiring me to do like contract projects and things like that. But I wanted to supplement my income and kind of start a stream of like smaller projects that were kind of more constantly ongoing. And I saw that Fiverr was like a marketplace where you could kind of do that. People were offering caricatures and different things like that. So I made a profile and got started with that. I'd offered like human ones at first, and then I kind of also saw later like, hey, pet portraits is a thing. Maybe I'll offer that. Maybe people will be interested. And I actually found out that I really enjoyed it. I liked that instead of like, oh my god, there's this huge like $2,000 project, and then like if I like make the sale and don't, it looks like a humongous deal. I liked that it was more like each one was like its own kind of smaller thing. I could work with the customers more one-on-one. I liked that aspect. But then after a while, like Fiverr's definitely not like my ideal kind of platform to be on. I was able to get sales from it, and it was pretty good for a while to get started. But they have a lot of restrictions. Like you can only that might be a little bit different now, but when I started, you could only offer prices in $5 increments, for example. So like you could only and a lot of people like they won't even click onto your thing if like you have to offer like a cheap thing for like $5, and then you can also upsell. So I was trying to do like really small, fast things, and like they also take 20% commission. And like it is worth it if you get sales, but Etsy is like so much. They take so much less. It's only like 3% plus like 20 cents for listings. Yeah. And they'll have all these rules like you can't talk to your customers outside of the platform. You're not allowed to like link them off the site or anything.
On Fiverr also, or are you talking about Etsy?
Oh yeah,
now?
I'm talking about Fiverr still. Yeah, they had so many restrictions. Yeah. And yeah, I thought, well, I kind of want to keep going down this route, but I wanted to kind of make it more like have more control over my business, kind of make it into my own brand. And so I started looking into different ways of doing that, and I thought that Etsy could be another marketplace that I could try.
Now, do you have any friends that sold on Etsy? Anyone that you knew ahead of time, or?
Yeah, actually, I don't have any friends. I've been interested in art for a long time, and there have been artists I've followed online who had Etsy shops, and so I've kind of been aware of it for a really long time since I was in high school, but I didn't know anyone. So I kind of just like went on, made one, started looking up some online resources and things, tried to educate myself that way.
Cool. Very cool. So how was that transition when you started moving your stuff over to Etsy? Did you completely shut down the work that you were doing on Fiverr and just full on move into it? Or was it kind of a gradual thing as you built up like more of a portfolio on Etsy?
Yeah, good question. I did actually keep my Fiverr store running for a long time because I was still getting sales through that. I didn't really want to just shut it down immediately. Yeah, and then I started the Etsy one on the side. I didn't know if it was going to work for me at all. And yeah, I started the shop around December 2015, and it took me a long time to even get my first sales. So yeah, I only ended up kind of shutting down the Fiverr about a month or two ago.
Oh, okay. Do you remember how long it was before you got your first sale on Etsy?
Let's see. I guess if I started it in December and I got my first sale around the end of January, so 1 or 2 months maybe.
Yeah. Oh, that's pretty good. That's not too bad.
Yeah, I I didn't like know how to use the right keywords or anything, so I guess someone just finally happened upon me somehow.
Nice.
Hmm.
Those are always happy accidents.
Yeah.
I kind of
Well,
find
that's
that a
cool.
lot with shops too. You have to kind of wait through this lull of a waiting period. Like you start and you're really excited, and of course you want sales to come right away. Like, okay, I've listed it, and everyone's
Yep.
like, I'm waiting for the first sale.
Doors are open.
And doors are open. We're here. But yeah, it seems like there's this period, no matter who it is, really. Like, of course, sometimes people open a shop and they get that first sale, but for the most part, it's a month or two. They get it, and then I'm not sure what exactly happens from there, but right from there, it seems like things just start progressing a lot faster. Next thing you know, they have all these sales and they're talking about like doing it full time and all that other fun stuff. One of the things I was thinking that might actually be one of those barriers to get people going like that is when you go to a shop and you see they've been on Etsy for a while and they have zero sales, or maybe they're even new but they have zero sales. I think people just have a hard time jumping in and taking it from 0 to 1. You know, they want to see one other person did it.
Yeah, exactly. So I was really happy when I got that first one. Like, finally, someone will see a 5-star under my thing.
Nice.
Right? That's
Yeah.
great.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah, I did kind of think about that when I was starting because, like, I had kind of been delivering the same kind of product for the past year, but there was, like, no way for people just happening across my Etsy shop to see that I was actually an experienced seller, just not on the Etsy platform.
Right.
So I made a little website on Weebly for free that just had a whole bunch of examples of my art, and like I copied some of the testimonials from my Fiverr portraits over to there, and like kind of had like a testimonials page and all that stuff. So I don't know, maybe that helped because I linked it and they could see like more examples. Yeah, I mean having the images and stuff for your shop and your listings does help, but you're kind of limited in that way too. Like you can only do 5 per listing. So
That's a great point you just touched on there. I love the way that you use your website for something other than another place to buy, right? You're using it as this social proof and a way to make yourself look more established, which is awesome. Because for the most part, I don't think that customers really need like another option of where to buy. What they want is an opportunity to just learn more about you, get more immersed in, you know, who you are, what your business is, and really why they should buy from you, like why you have the right thing for them. So I love that. You're the first one I think I've talked to so far that explicitly started up a website for that.
Now,
Smart.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say, did you see like an increase in sales after you did something like that, or engagement with your listings that you had on Etsy?
No, not right away. I think maybe it helped me get the first sale. I'm not really sure. I mean, it's kind of hard to tell what's making an impact when you're just getting like 0 and 1 or 2 per month.
Yeah.
But yeah, the biggest impact was when I finally started following your guys' advice and using your tool.
Sweet. That's good.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad.
Yeah. Do you want me to talk a bit about that? Or?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Yeah, so even after I got my first sale, I mean, I was really happy about it. But then for the next month or two, like the next month I got like 2 only, and then like 1 the next month. So I was like, okay, I am getting sales, but not many people are seeing my listings. So what's going on with that? So I started looking into how to get more found on Etsy. And then I don't even remember how I came across it. No, I think it was, do you know Renee Christine?
Of course we do. Yes.
Yeah, she recommended you guys. I think I was on her emailing list, and I went to your website. I signed up for your email list. Went through like you had like that course where you email over a few days, like how to get started. Yeah,
Yes.
that was so helpful. I like followed it step by step. Did like the keyword research with your tool. I made like a spreadsheet of like what I thought would seem like all the best keywords, and then I started kind of from there.
That's awesome.
And I started with only making like a couple listings. Like I don't know if this is gonna work. Like, but then I started seeing it start to work a little bit and added a few more. Eventually, I was like, I should just do all the listings with all the keywords. And then that's when things started really taking off, and like I started jumping up to like 13 sales, and then like 20. And yeah, it was so exciting.
That's awesome. What kind of stuff were you putting in your spreadsheet? I'd love to hear what you're tracking in there.
Oh yeah, so I mean, because on your website, you can only kind of see one or two at a time.
Mm-hmm.
And I wanted to like vet a whole bunch, like over 100 keywords. I would just like search one, then like copy the views and what's it like the like the engagement one or the engagement ratio or something like that, and then I just kind of put it in a spreadsheet with like keyword, that stat, and then I just kind of went all the way down the line. That took me maybe about an hour to do all of them. Yeah, and then after that, I kind of sorted them into groups and like highlighted the ones that I thought were like the best. Like if it was too low, then I would just cross it off, and then I made like a bunch of like sets of them.
Gotcha.
To base my listings off of.
Now, when you updated your listings, then I assume you reused some keywords like across multiple listings. How did you decide, how to distribute those keywords that looked like they were going to work across all of your listings?
Well, the interesting thing with my shop is I only really sort of have one product, a pet portrait, and it can be custom to whatever they want. So I kind of tried to group it more into things that I thought were similar, like all the cat portrait ones, like all the ones to do with cats, then maybe like all the ones to do with dogs, rabbits, and then all the ones to do with maybe like pet memorials, and then like dog memorial listings, cat memorial listings, photo to drawing, like all the ones that I like seemed kind of similar. I kind of grouped into groups of 6, and I kind of made ones according to that.
Nice.
Question on the animal portraits. Like, what is the rarest or most wild animal that you've done a portrait of?
I was so going to ask that, so I'm glad you did.
Good question. Okay, I think maybe like an iguana, maybe? Or a pigeon.
That's awesome.
Yeah, maybe it was a dove. I don't know. Maybe it was a dove, but it looked kind of like a pigeon to me. Yeah, this one person, they had a whole bunch of animals in their family, like a whole bunch of dogs. It was like 10 animals total. They had also like a guinea pig and an iguana and a bird. So, yeah, that was my craziest one so far.
Wow. So was that, did you do all 10 of those in a single picture? Like you had to get them all in one shot?
Yeah, they were all like in separate portraits.
Yeah.
So I mean separate photos that they gave to me, so I kind of had to like cut them out and kind of arrange them so it looked like they would kind of be sitting in the same
and not like trying to kill each other.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Exactly. Yeah. Oh, speaking of that, one person once tried to ask me like to draw a picture of their fish, but like the reference picture they gave me was like their fish being fed another fish, and I was like, no.
That's different.
Yeah.
What
like,
what'd you end up doing?
Well, this was on Fiverr, so I just quoted them at like kind of a high price, and they decided not to do it. And I was
nice. Nice.
Yeah.
That's a really nice way to turn down work, by the way. I've heard. So to any Etsy sellers, they're like, I'm not really sure if I want to do this. I see this in conversations. They'll be like, well, this customer seems kind of difficult to deal with, this and that, and I'm not sure if I want to do it. And it's like, listen, charge them the price that if you do get it, you can smile while doing it, no matter how difficult they are. And if they say it's too high and walk away, like that's cool too. So
I think lots of contractors do that with my house when I get quotes from them too.
And when you bite, they're like,
no, I'm like,
what do we do now?
I'll do this myself. And then I get halfway done and I'm like, this was terrible. I should have just hired.
Oh no, is my brush dripping paint on your floor? Oh man. You don't want us to come back tomorrow, do you?
Yeah, always place to your contractors. That way they won't drip paint in your house or charge you super lots of money.
Oh man. Exactly. Allison, it looked like you tried some other like really cool things, besides the separate site with samples of your artwork and social proof and stuff like that, and obviously your keyword research and things too. One of the things you decided to do was to, instead of just posting a straight up digital version of the paintings that you've done, put them inside of a frame so that people can kind of envision, what these things might look like hanging on their wall or on their table or wherever they're going to put these things inside their houses. How did you think of doing that?
Yeah, did we even mention so far that they're digital portraits?
Maybe.
Okay. Oh, yeah.
I'm not sure we mentioned they're digital.
Oh yeah, so they're digital portraits. People just send me a photo, then I make a digital painting based on it with my drawing tablet. This is like the digital pen that I use.
Hmm.
It's pressure sensitive, so it kind of picks up your unique like line strokes, just like a regular paintbrush or pen would.
Hmm.
Yeah, and I do that, and then I just send them a printable file. It's digital file, so I don't like have to deal with prints or shipping or anything. I
Hmm.
specifically wanted to design it that way so I wouldn't have to like deal with storing things, printing things,
Yeah,
having to pay for materials.
that's
It's
right.
super streamlined for me that way. And also the customer, once they get it, they can print it on all kinds of stuff. Like a lot of the
Yeah.
times they'll get like a canvas print,
Hmm.
or they can even do like mugs or t-shirts if they wanted to. Like people have made like custom planner stickers and like all kinds of different stuff from my artwork. Yeah.
That's awesome.
That is
So
awesome.
with the tablet, is that like something that hooks up to the computer? That type of tablet? Is it a
Yeah,
like an
here
iPad type?
here's one of mine.
Whoa. Okay.
Yeah, it's pretty big. I actually have three now. You can tell how good an artist is by how many drawing tablets they have. No, I'm joking.
Listeners, you've been challenged.
That's right. Who's
No, I
got more
just
than three?
yeah, I had one for the longest time, and then when I finally started getting into doing these every day, I was like, what if it breaks? So then I got more, just in case.
Nice.
Yeah, and it plugs in by USB to my computer. One of them that I've been using since I was like 15 when my parents bought me it for Christmas. Still
Nice.
works, but
Nice.
yeah.
I was gonna ask if it took a while to get used to it, but if you've been doing it since you're 15, probably kind of hit a groove since then.
Yeah, I've been using it for a long time. I do traditional painting as well, but most
Okay.
of my paid work is digital.
Hmm.
Mhm.
Have you had any customers request that like you handle the printing and shipping to them, or has everyone been totally cool with the digital delivery and they're fine like handling that part on their own?
Um, of my customers, like 99%, they totally get it.
Yeah.
They're fine doing it themselves. A few people have asked me, "Oh, can you print it for me and send it to me?"
Hmm.
But yeah, like that would just kind of add a whole bunch more complication and
Yeah.
logistics to my business. So
Yeah, for
I'm
sure.
like gonna say no for now.
Hmm.
Maybe in the future if like there's a humongous demand, but so far I've been doing great with just the digital. Oh, the part that sucks though is if someone like I try to put everywhere that it's like digital, but once in a while, even though I write it like 5 different places, someone will order and be like, "Oh, I thought it was a physical painting." And I'm
Of
like,
course
I'm
they
sorry.
do.
Yeah, I don't, yeah. Yeah,
Once they
but
get it
other
printed, it'll be physical.
yeah, exactly. I'm like, yeah, you can make it physical. You can do it.
You have the power for that.
Yeah.
Do you have any printers or anything that you recommend to people, like if they wanted to get a canvas print made up?
Good question. I actually just made a print guide that I link in my shop description.
Oh, nice.
I don't have like any specific ones that I like completely recommend because I haven't really tried them, but I kind of listed a couple options I thought could work for people. And hopefully that'll help if they're like all confused about how to make prints.
Yeah, I like that. It's another example of how you kind of close that gap and like answer their questions before they have to ask them. Because,
Yeah.
you know, like we've talked about before, a lot of people, they leave without asking the question. So,
Yeah.
you know, I think a lot of people think like, oh, people have a question, they'll message me. Most people won't.
Yeah.
Yeah, as I've tried to improve my listings and stuff more, I try to like think of what the customer's objections might be and try to get all that information in.
Mhm.
But then also because like with my product, unlike a necklace where they just buy it and it gets shipped to them, there's a lot more interaction. Like they have to be able to like take a photo, send
Yeah.
me a photo, like they'll have to know how to attach it.
Yep.
Like they might not know if like it works for like my style or something. So
Mhm.
yeah, and then they have to do the printing, so it's kind of more involved. So like my listings have ended up getting like so long,
Mhm.
so I'm trying to organize it and like not scare people away by like having to read all this stuff.
Mhm.
Yeah,
That
that's
makes
been a bit
sense.
of challenge, but
I think one of the other cool things about the digital delivery though is that kind of like you said before, people can get it printed on whatever if they want to get a mug or a canvas or whatever. And I think a lot of times with photography, especially like wedding photos, you know, you pay a photographer, and most of them won't give you the rights to the photos. And so then if you want another copy of something or a canvas print or something different, you have to go back to the photographer, and then they kind of have their own little, they add on to that, and it costs a little bit extra to do that. But having that original digital copy that they can go ahead and print wherever they want is pretty cool.
Yeah, and I'm happy to give that to people because I don't want to deal with the extra hassle of doing prints myself. So
yeah, for sure.
Works for both of us.
I could see that adding like a lot of headache.
Yeah, I'm so happy that I can just log on, paint for a couple hours, and that's my work day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
Also, because I don't have to do prints like myself, then I can, if I wanted to, I could just like move somewhere or like go on vacation and like bring my little travel tablet and keep doing my shop. I wouldn't have to have like all these supplies or anything.
Yep, that's a good point.
Actually, it might be easier for your customers in certain cases too, because if you're selling globally, which I'm sure you are, if you print something to ship it to them, then they have to deal with customs and stuff like that and extra time. So, they have to send you the photos, you have to make your portrait, you'd have to print it, package it, all that fun stuff. Meanwhile, if they can just do it themselves, and I mean, I know there's lots of like local print shops around me, and probably around everybody that lives near any sort of city. So it's like I could have it that much quicker without any of the questions. Like, oh, I have to pay them, because I see this a lot too. People always get questions from their customers and stuff like that about like the customs taxes, or like, hey, I thought this was an all-in price, but now the customs are telling me to pay this and that, and it's like a whole headache.
Yeah, I was like, I don't want to deal with any of that. I'll just do digital. Another interesting aspect, I guess, is that a lot of other painters or portrait artists on Etsy, like I was looking at them, and a lot of the times in their description they say their turnaround time for completing it would be like maybe 2 weeks or something. It varies, but for me, like I can do it so fast because it's digital and send it to them. So like my turnaround's usually about 3 days only, and then they get it immediately, and they can just take the file and go that afternoon to their print shop and have their like birthday gift for their friend or whatever they're making it for.
That's awesome. It's kind of like 2 product deliveries then, right? Because they probably get excited when they get your digital copy that's all done and ready to go. And then when they get it printed again, it's like another. It's like,
like, oh, it looks so good in person too. Yeah.
That's awesome. Now, kind of what we were saying at the beginning, though, when you post your pictures in for your listings, you show these things inside of frames, right? So that people can kind of envision them being inside of like how they're going to end up, right? Not just the digital photo inside of the the thumbnail view that Etsy lets you fill with your image. Do you want to talk a little bit about that and how you started doing that?
Yes, I forgot that's how we got onto this track, but when I first posted my first listings, I kind of had different pictures. Like I had like the before and after photo is what I did for my listing thumbnail. But then afterwards, I was looking at like what other people were doing, and I like looked at through the whole like printable category on Etsy, because it's a whole other thing.
Yeah.
And I noticed a lot of them, they would do mock-ups in frames, and they looked really nice. And that way you can see like, oh, it's not just a digital thing. Like if it's just an image, like you don't really know, like, is it clip art? Like, what is it? But then if it's a picture, you can see like, oh, I can hold this, and this is what it might look like if it's in my house. So I thought I should try that. So I went and found a public domain photo, and I just kind of photoshopped my portraits into it, and I made a whole bunch of thumbnails like that. I didn't have to really do photography or anything.
It looks real. Like when
so useful.
No, absolutely. And you did a good job with it too. It's cool. It's like it's this gold frame on top of it. It looks like a white radiator on a white wall. And it looks as if someone had, printed all of those and put them inside of a frame, which I suppose you could do, right, if you really wanted to spend a lot of time doing that, but photoshopping them in there is so much easier, and it looks nice. And it's easy when I first glance at that to kind of envision, I see what this would look like, if I printed this out here.
Yeah, it's one less thing to worry about.
Yeah, I was showing it to a few friends, and they're like, oh, I thought it was real. So I'm like, yeah, that's what I was going for.
Yeah, that's the idea. Yeah.
I'm glad you can't tell.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Yep, benefits of being a digital artist. You have really good Photoshop skills.
This is true.
Yeah, I designed my own logo too. for my store.
Oh yeah, I like the logo too. Like the silhouette of the dog and cat next to each other.
Yeah,
That's
thanks.
cool.
Yeah.
That's cool. And was that from like a silhouette of a customer image, or did you find like a dog and
Actually,
cat
yeah.
online?
I think it was, yeah, the dog was definitely one of my customer portraits that I did.
Yeah.
I just kind of turned it into a silhouette.
Yeah.
Probably like the cat was one of those too. I might have had to like make that specifically.
Are there
Yeah.
any animals you really don't enjoy painting?
Humans.
Humans.
I don't mind. Well, humans are animals too.
Yeah, I know.
I
It's
don't
very
mind.
clever.
Yeah, I don't mind doing humans, I guess, but when I was doing both of them on Fiverr, I realized I really gravitated more towards the animals.
Yeah.
And when you're doing human portraits, you have this whole other dimension of like people care about how they look, and they like have their own image of how they think that they look,
Yeah.
and then you have your image of how you think they look, and then they'll like want you to change it and stuff, which
Yeah.
is fine. Like that comes with the niche, I guess.
Yeah.
But with animals, people love how their pets look anyway. They think they're perfect. Like even if they're fat or like a bit weird, they just love the way that they actually look. So
Yeah.
I found that to be a lot better for me personally.
Yeah, that's a really good point. I didn't even think of that, but that's a really good point. One of my buddies out in LA, in high school, he was a caricature artist, and he worked at Cedar Point, which is a giant amusement park out here in Ohio. And one of the things that they taught him in his caricature training was, obviously you want to accentuate unique features to people, but at the same time, like, you need to kind of make sure you're not like insulting them with it, and try to like emphasize things that they're maybe more proud of than things that they're not so proud of.
Yeah.
And then they'll be happier with the final result too.
Yeah, and I totally get it. But yeah, it does become a bit more challenging for me as an artist with more revisions and things.
Yeah. Yeah.
Also, with the pet market, like there's just different motivations and stuff for doing it. Like,
Yeah.
If people are getting caricatures, oftentimes it's for like their social media profile or maybe as a gift. But people would probably feel a bit weird of like having a portrait of themselves like in their house, or like giving their portrait of
Some
like
people
themselves,
might,
or like like it's kind of a different thing. But people are totally cool with like having pictures of their pets up on the wall, or like pictures of animals. And like the pet memorial thing is its own big market. Like if someone's pet passes away, like that's really sad, but a lot of the time like at least half of my portrait orders, they're for people whose pets have passed away or their friends' pets passed away, and they want to get something to kind of help them process their feelings or give comfort in that kind of situation. So there's this whole other driver for people to purchase them, which I doubt people would order a portrait from me if like for a human memorial. That would be a bit like maybe not the right style, or
One of the other things you mentioned was that early on you used coupons to help jumpstart reviews.
Yes.
How did that happen? Like, is that something you came up with, or are you? Because there's a lot of really cool tricks you use along the way here, and we touched on you touched on a lot of them in the little synopsis you sent us, and I want to hear about more of them. But like, are these things that you kind of seek out on your own? Are you finding these little pieces of advice? Are there even more that you tried that didn't work, but these are the ones that did work?
Oh, there's probably tons of stuff I tried that hasn't worked. I've been interested in running some kind of online business for a really long time, so I've probably just like been picking up stuff for quite a while. So I don't remember exactly where I saw these things. I probably didn't. It probably wasn't completely original. But for the reviews, I know how important it is, like especially with Fiverr, to see like that your thing has lots of reviews. People will trust it more.
Yeah.
And I was just feeling like, I have a lot of reviews, and like I know that my thing is good because I've been doing it for a year already, but it's just not on Etsy. So I thought, in order to jumpstart that a little bit, I would offer a few coupons to a few of my friends. Be like, hey, I'm starting this new Etsy thing. It'd be super cool if you would want to like try out my thing. If you want, leave a really nice positive review, and then that would be really helpful to me. So I offered that to maybe 3 of my friends. 2 took me up on it. They weren't actually my first reviews because the first sale came in before the friends. But yeah, so my first 3, then that got me my first 3 reviews. Then probably was easier for people to jump in after that.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. I think there, like Richie was kind of touching on earlier, I think there's definitely, if people see a shop that doesn't have any reviews whatsoever, right? It looks like a super young shop, and it's kind of like, I don't know, like with the digital download, it might be a little bit easier, but at the same time, there's so many things that could go wrong with this. Like, is this going to take forever? Is this not going to work out? Am I not going to like it? How's the whole process going to go? And to see that, those reviews out there that other people have purchased and are happy with it, right? Like that's definitely takes a load off, I think, of people's minds before they make a purchase. So that's a pretty cool idea to send out coupons to your friends to solicit some 5 stars.
Yep. It's like, just help me out with the review and you can save lots of money.
So one of the other things I want to ask, go ahead, Richie, sorry.
I was going to say, yeah, like in general, we've been really conditioned for social proof. So I think that's something that, and especially when you're dealing with handmade and stuff like that, one of the things and you strike me as someone that would do good in like physical handmade sales too. And I see a lot of people that do well at craft fairs and like brick and mortar type thing. And they come onto Etsy and they're like, I don't understand what's happening. And I think what it is they don't translate a lot of that interaction, that personal interaction that they might not even realize they do over to the online. And some of the things I've heard you like use the word objections. And I think people are doing well in the physical sales and then not as well in the e-commerce side of the sales aren't recognizing those things. Like they probably handle objections naturally and sell the stuff naturally, but don't think about it. But you're really putting the rubber on the road there when you're talking about actually objections and stuff like that and building into your listings and how they've gotten really long descriptions right now, but you're being thorough.
Yeah.
So I think those are some like real important takeaways from some of the things that you do that is making you successful in the space.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, thanks. Yeah, I've definitely, I think, picked up at least a little bit of copywriting skills along the way, just through my research over the years. If you really want to dive into it, though, you could probably learn a lot of like really good tips in an afternoon just for writing your Etsy listings, like what makes a good sales letter. Yeah, just Google that. What makes a good sales letter and copywriting? You'll get a whole bunch of tips that'll help you out.
That is a good idea. Because, when you're online shopping, and when someone's on your on your website, you don't have the opportunity to, pick up on the cues that they're giving you when you're selling something face to face. Like, so if they didn't quite understand the way you just explained something, sometimes they'll make like a little face. You could be like, oh, no, I mean this, But when it's just online, you've lost them. Like, you can't correct. There is no course correction.
Yeah, you kind of have to learn what your customers will be thinking, and it's not always obvious right away. It's really important to pay attention. Like, if people are asking you questions a lot, then be like, oh, maybe I should just include the answer to that in my little description or something. Then you can kind of build it up that way.
Absolutely. That is a good tip.
Now, one of the things I wanted to ask you about was your pricing and how, since it's a digital download, how do you arrive at the price that you're asking for your listings? Now, there's like, I don't even know how many guides. There's countless guides out there that tell Etsy sellers to, add the cost of your materials and your time that goes into things, and then how much profit you want to make, and that's what you should price at, right? Well, without true materials in each of these, obviously you have your 3 tablets, which I'm sure aren't cheap.
Yes.
But you couldn't tack that into a single listing. So how do you go about pricing your listings?
Yeah, good question. Yeah, so since I don't really have materials, at least not for each individual thing, it's completely based on my time and also, I guess, what the market is willing to pay. I don't know if I've completely settled on what my price is going to be forever. Also, like, I'm pricing in Canadian dollars, which kind of like, there's like the currency exchange for like to American and stuff. But yeah, so I started off, I went with $20 to start with because I was like, oh, well, it'll take me maybe like about an hour. $20 an hour sounds good to me, even though it's kind of low. So I'll start with that, try to get some initial sales going. And then when the sales kind of started rolling in regularly, I decided to go up to 30. That was working pretty well. And then I went up to 40 more recently, and I'm hoping that works good. And like, I'll continue doing that until I guess I hit a limit, because like I can kind of look at what other people are doing. There are other people selling like digital portraits for like even more than me, but I want to make sure that like, I don't know, art is so subjective. People will have different perceptions about what something's worth, if it's like physical or digital.
Yeah.
I still have questions about if people are gonna be willing to pay more for my work because it is digital. Like, maybe they'll value traditional paintings more. But there are pet portrait artists that charge like $1,000 for one portrait, but it's a physical painting. So yeah, it's just gonna be, I guess I started low, and then as soon as I was like getting tons of sales, I was like, this works, maybe I can go higher. And I'm just kind of gonna keep testing it that way.
I love it. That's perfect. Testing.
Yeah,
Yay.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Was that a nerve-wracking thing for you when you increased your prices from 20 to 30? Were you kind of worried about that, or were you pretty comfortable at the time?
Slightly concerned, but not too worried. I mean, okay, I'm talking in Canadian dollars. So like 30 Canadian with the exchange rate now, that's only like $20 USD. Like, a lot of people will be able to afford that, so I wasn't super worried, especially the people who shop on Etsy, who tend to be like, you know, a little bit higher income, I think. So I thought that'd be pretty fine. Like, I wasn't expecting all my sales to go away when I went to 30.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's awesome. I think that's great. It's interesting too because, you know, we've heard stories with other people too where they'll increase their prices and they actually end up selling more because now they're kind of almost like jumping markets right now, and they might be reaching a larger market of people that are expecting to pay more for something like that, or thinking that this higher dollar amount means more quality, right? And so it'll be interesting as you're testing things out if you hit a point where it's like it just like blows up because you've increased your price to a certain point.
Yeah. Oh man, if I could go up even higher, that'd be awesome. The price increase to $40 was only maybe a few days ago. And I have had one sale at that price point, but it kind of has dropped off. But I don't know if it's just like there would have been a natural lull anyway. It's kind of hard to tell.
Yeah, so summer's a tough time for a lot of shops, I think. So that it could be tough too, you know, looking at the seasonality of it and everything like that. Obviously, around Christmas time, I would think a lot of people would go for something like this as a really nice gift for somebody, right? But over the summer months, it could be more challenging.
Especially right now with back to school, because right now it seems like different school, like some people are already back in school, other people are, they have their kids still working back to school. So I almost feel like for just about a month period of time, like in different places, people's kids are now going back to school. And then of course, you know, ship them off to school, and then what comes back is a list of more stuff you need. Like, hey, congratulations, you thought you got them everything. Well, here's the list that you need in addition to that. And then getting the routines and everything. So I feel like people, definitely kind of, especially when there's a little bit of work involved, when, you know, they've got to like send you stuff and other things like that. When there's other like thinking and stuff to do, I feel like a lot of stuff gets put on the back burner.
Yeah, that's a good point. So I guess for now, my plan is to keep it at 40 for probably the next month, and hopefully, like, things will pick back up. I don't know. Yeah, it'd be really nice to stay at 40. I don't want to go back if I don't have to.
Absolutely.
Something you could always do there is also, as part of the testing. I mean, you might be able to leave it at 40 right as is, but there might be like some extra in your copywriting, like a little bit of extra like value add type stuff you could put in there to point out, just to build it up just that little bit extra. Like digital, did you realize you could put it on a coffee mug and a pillow and a blanket all in the same order? Oh yeah, we should talk about my upsells too.
Yeah, that was one of the other things I wanted to ask you about. I really like that you used that word when you were describing kind of the variations in your listings, and I definitely want to hear more about that.
Yeah, so, because I thought, I know from what I've learned about running an online business is having an upsell is very important, because not everyone will go for it, but some people will, and then you'll be able to like sell more at the same time. So when I was thinking of different things I could do, well, at first when I was on Fiverr, I was thinking of different things like adding like more detail or something, but that was kind of too hard to like really judge. Like, people didn't know like what that meant. Like, they wanted to see examples of them and different things. So I kind of scrapped that. And right now my upsells are the size of the printable file. Okay. So like whether you can print it at 12 inches, 16, 20, and also whether I add a background color, a custom background color. So currently the base price, which is 30 Canadian, you get a white background and it's 12 by 12 inches, the maximum size. So because it's a digital file, you can, I guess like you can if you want blow it up, but if the file is only meant for this size, it'll look pixelated and not as good. Yeah. So if you purchase a up to 20-inch one, I'll make it at a higher resolution. There'll be more detail, and you'll be able to scale it down and print it smaller if you want, but you have a lot more flexibility, and you can make larger prints if you so choose. So yeah, I have in my listing variations, there's a little drop down, and one thing that I'm not crazy about with Etsy is that you can only have one drop down that affects the price. So like you can have multiple drop downs, but only one of them is allowed to affect the price. So I kind of had to moosh them together, like 12 inches with background, 12 inches without background, 16 with and yeah, I mean it does work for me, but it's not completely ideal. It'd be nice if you could kind of have them little separate, so that they could add them separately. It'd be a bit nicer user experience, I think.
Yeah.
And before I had them in the little drop down, what I did, which you should not do, this is a mistake that I made. I kind of had the upsell in like a different listing. Like there was like a separate like background add-on listing.
Yeah.
I thought that would work, but I think most people just weren't seeing it. Like even though I like kind of tried to point it out to people in the description, and like I posted the link, but the links aren't clickable in Etsy listings. So I just think people weren't seeing it, and then one other Etsy seller that I was talking with pointed out to me, hey, I used to do that too, but when I added it in the drop down, a lot more people started buying those. Yeah. So I took her advice and did that, and it's been working out pretty well. Nice. Not everyone gets it, but maybe like 30% get some kind of upsell. And That's not a lot of extra work for me, but it means that my average order value can be higher.
Yeah.
It's awesome. That's clever.
Now, when you're scaling your pricing, are you adjusting your upsell numbers too then?
Yeah. I've been keeping the background color add-on at the same price, but like everything just kind of shifts up. So like when I went from 20 to 30, I just added $10 to all of the different sizes.
Gotcha. And while you were talking about the different, resolutions and scaling of images too, it got me thinking, how long do you hold on to the original files when you create these things? Do you ever have people that come back to you like 6 months later and are like, oh my gosh, my hard drive got fried. I need my art back. I don't have it. Do you keep these things, or are you like, it's on you, I delivered it?
Well, I actually do keep them all. Like I have all of them since when I started from. They're just in a folder on my computer. They don't it doesn't take up a crazy amount of space. I guess I will need to upgrade my hard drive soon, but I want to keep them anyway because all the portraits I do, they can kind of become additional marketing content, posting them on Instagram and whatever, making like new listing pictures. So I've kind of wanted to hold on to them anyways.
Cool.
So yeah, if someone, and they're all backed up, like I have a little program that uploads everything on my computer to the cloud, and it's all like super safe. So if someone's house burns down and they lose their file, I can send them their portrait back again, hopefully.
Nice.
Yeah. So it's immortal, even of another benefit over having a physical one.
There you go.
Yeah.
And one of the other things that you mentioned too is email marketing. And I think this is something, when you bring this up, there's definitely a group of Etsy sellers who get nervous and they get kind of scared because, there are some rules within Etsy as far as like who you can reach out to and like if they have to accept the fact that you're going to be sending them email and the things you can talk to them about and things like that. And it scares a lot of people away. What would you say to make it all okay so that people understand that this is a good thing?
Oh gosh. Well, what makes it all okay? As long as you're keeping it to the point where they are optionally signing up, then they're asking to hear from you. So there's no reason to feel weird about it. And if you use like a typical email marketing provider like MailChimp or almost anything, you have to include the unsubscribe. So as soon as they don't want it anymore, it's totally up to them. And yeah, you don't have to feel like you're being coercive or weird or anything about it. How I get people onto my email list is in my descriptions and in my shop announcement, I have a special coupon for $5 off. You might not want to put this. You might not want to put this for yourself, but Yeah, like I don't even have materials to worry about. So like I think often when people get the coupon, they'll like also get an upsell. So it's like I make the same anyways. So yeah, if you join my mailing list or my super secret VIP club thing, you click the link and you can sign up and you get your coupon, which you can use immediately towards your order.
Nice.
And not everyone goes for it, surprisingly. Like I thought a bunch of people would just like sign up, get the coupon, then save $5 and then just unsubscribe.
Right?
But I think maybe people like, because they like, oh, they saved $5. Maybe they feel like they owe me a little bit, so they stay on my list. Or maybe they're just happy to hear from me. I don't know. Yeah.
I've heard from other sellers that were surprised that they'll put out coupons, they'll send coupons to people, and those people will come back and buy, but without the coupon. And they'll be really surprised. They're like, hey, they had the coupon, they're not using it. What's going on?
Yeah, it's odd. I thought more people would be taking advantage of it, and sometimes people will sign up for my mailing list, but then they won't buy for like a really long time. But then I'm sending them marketing emails, so like maybe they're like holding on to it for a rainy day or something.
What sort of content do you send out through that, and how often do you send things out through your email list?
Yeah, I'm not really using it to the fullest extent that I probably could or should be. I only have about maybe a bit under 40 people that I've managed to get onto my list so far. So what I've been doing, I feel like I should probably try to do something once a week, but so far, like I'll send something like once in a while I'll have a giveaway. So like if they're on the mailing list, they'll feel like, oh good, I can, just by staying on, I can potentially win a free thing.
That's right.
So and also if you promote that like on other social media, like people may join just to do the giveaway. So I'll do that once in a while. So they'll feel like they're like getting value by staying on. And once in a while, if I have a sale, I'll say like, oh, there's like recently I had a summer sale. So I did one email that was like, oh, by the way, this is just like an early preview announcement that in a few days I'll have a summer sale and there'll be a coupon I send out. It's going to be from this day to this day. And then a few days later, at the start of the sale, I'll send an email about that. Yeah, I've been thinking of adding more different kinds of content, like maybe like a portrait of the month or something where I like say a bit more about my art. I thought maybe people will be interested to read about that.
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
Or just keep your shop front of mind for them too, you know, as they're, because there's going to be events that come up, whether it's a birthday or a wedding or, you know, Mother's Day, whatever, that if you're in the front of their mind because you sent them something that talks about portrait of the month or, you know, just what's going on right now in your life and stuff like that, they'll be more likely to think of you when it comes time to think of a gift for somebody.
Yeah, totally. I did actually do a Mother's Day sale earlier this year, and I did manage to get a few sales from that.
Nice.
Like, yeah, get a portrait of your mom's favorite pet, like her favorite friend. She'll love it.
I like it.
Yeah.
I do too. That's cool.
Yeah. Managed to get a few sales from that, so I was like, yeah, it works. This method works. Yeah, I feel like I should be using it more to its fullest extent. I've been more focused on optimizing the Etsy SEO lately because that's been the biggest sales driver for me.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah.
And you've also kind of dabbled in Instagram, right? You'll post things out there too, and you do get some traffic from that. Are there any other, you know, social media outlets or sources that you have had like moderate success with?
Well, I have a Facebook page, which I don't keep up with nearly as much as I should be, but I think that could be a good platform because, like, people, they love pet photos. Like, cats and dogs, they're such huge internet sensations. People are already used to sending pictures of cats and dogs, and they love sharing pictures of their pets. So I think, like, sometimes if someone gets their portrait back, like now I have it set up so I have a message that like, hey, if you want to use this image and share it on Instagram or Facebook, tag me and I'll do the same. Like, cool. I'll post it and feature you. Cool. So then they'll post it and like their friends will see it, and then I can, or like if they'll post, or maybe like if I know what their Facebook is, I can post it on my Facebook page and then tag them, and then their friends will see it, and then they'll come over to my Facebook page. Yeah, I think that could be really powerful, and I have got a couple of people messaging me on Facebook because they saw their friend posted a portrait and they thought it was really cool. So then they started contacting me. I haven't really, well, unless I don't think I've made a sale that way yet. It could be that they found me there, then came to Etsy and bought, and I just don't know. But yeah, I think that could be a good way to get some sales.
Oh, for sure. I feel like
Yeah,
pet
almost.
people. Oh, go ahead.
Sorry. I was just going to say, I think almost any kind of platform where you can make a personal connection with somebody, and if you have a good product and they're interested, then they could follow you over to your shop.
Absolutely. And I feel like those are good connections to make too, because people that are pet people also tend to be friends with other pet people or like in families of pet people.
Yeah.
So they have a good experience, they buy from you, it makes a great gift then, right? Like,
and a lot
their friends
of people,
are over. They're like, "Where'd you get that? That's awesome." Oh,
yeah, totally. And a lot of the times, a lot of people own more than one pet. If they have one, they'll have more usually.
Mm-hmm.
So sometimes they'll get one. They're like, "Oh, I have to get one of all of my pets now." This one lady, she has like she had like 7 cats, and she got pictures of all of them. That was so cool. Yeah.
That's fantastic. That's a good point too. Like, if they have good experience with the one, there's a good chance they'll get more.
Yeah, it's another reason why I decided to pursue the pet niche.
Yeah, I was going to ask about that too. So you've talked about that a little bit, but you're an illustrator and you have a lot of other cool stuff out there as far as like fine art and character design and stuff like that. And so it really seems like art is definitely a passion for you. You definitely enjoy this, and it's not just, one little niche inside of art, but it's all kinds of different things. But what keeps you going with the pet portraits, and really kind of devoting your entire Etsy shop to that?
Yeah, well, I mean, even though I've tried a whole bunch of different stuff in the past, like I'll get kind of like some success with it, but I guess I never completely 100% cracked how to make things into a sustainable business. Like I would get illustration contracts, but then like there'd be like months where I like just didn't get any, or like it would always kind of feel like I was up to like it was like random sort of, like I didn't know how to completely close clients consistently. Maybe like if I kept going with it, I would have eventually like cracked it. And like I've done all kinds of different stuff. Like I've sold like traditional paintings of my own original artwork, and yes, I made some sales with it. That was good. Like I participated in art shows like around Vancouver and stuff. That was like an awesome experience. Nice. But it still felt a bit random. So even though I would sell one, I'd be like, I have no idea where the next one's gonna be. So I just really wanted to, with the pet portraits, I thought like this is a thing that I can do. I can see there's like a big market for it.
Yeah.
I learned that on Fiverr, and people are just, there's always going to be people who are out there who are buying them, and they have specific reasons, like life events, like loss of their pet or gifts and stuff, where it makes sense for them to buy it. So I just thought, like I'll focus on this, and then I'll have like a stable income stream. It doesn't even have like, I can maybe even, what I'm really excited about is I'm hoping that the pet portrait business, I wanted to make a whole brand around that so it wasn't confusing for people, even though I do other stuff. But I'm hoping that SideKickPortraits, I'll be able to do kind of a full-time level income with that, but it doesn't actually take me full-time hours, so then I can still do other stuff as well.
I mean, that's pretty smart. Have you charted that out to know, how far off you might be from being able to do something like that?
Well, okay, so a couple months ago, so when my sales first started jumping up in June, like when I first started it, I wasn't sure, like if I even was able to make an extra couple $100 a month, I would thought that it would be worth it and great.
Yeah.
But then in June, I passed $500 in sales.
Nice.
In July, I passed $650. And then August, this past month, like I was looking at my past 30 days of revenue, and it was $850. So
that's
it's just
fantastic.
Been like going.
No, that's super fantastic, especially during the summer months, right, where lots of sellers are kind of saying like, "Oh, we're having a tough time here. We're struggling." The holiday season's come to an end. And, like Richie was talking about back to school, and there's so much stuff that like during the summer, I think the engagement on Etsy, and we've even seen this in the data that we have from our shop fitness calculator. Sales definitely dip down over the summer period. So for you to be on a constant steady rise right now, that's awesome.
Yeah, it's so exciting. I definitely think at some point in the next couple of months I could definitely, cross my fingers, but I think I could make full-time amounts of income from it. my expenses are pretty low. I don't have a kid or a mortgage or a car, so it doesn't have to be super high for me to be able to just totally be able to survive off of that.
Nice.
That's
Yeah,
awesome.
I'm aiming for 1,200. I'll be like so happy if I'm able to hit that.
It definitely sounds like you're
Well,
on your
you're
way.
on-
And with the holidays coming up,
Yeah.
I would not be surprised
God.
at all if you hit that earlier than you expect, even.
Yeah, here's hoping.
Yeah.
Hopefully I didn't mess it up by raising my price to $40. I doubt it, but you know.
Well, and worst case, if your sales dip down because of that, you can always move it back down and find the sweet spot where things fit for you.
Yeah, exactly. I remember listening to one of your episodes on pricing, and I was like, yeah, if I raise it and it totally messes up, I can just go back, I guess. So
Yeah.
yeah.
And think of it this way too. Have you seen any of these like dog bakeries and stuff like that, or these pet bakeries?
Yeah, I walked
mean-
past one the other day. So cute.
Yeah. People are spending more on like cupcakes and stuff like that than I am on like a dinner. So when you
Yeah.
put that in perspective, like your product is not outrageously priced. In fact, next time you walk by one of those, you might want to stop in and let them know what you do and see if you could do a little bit of marketing of your digital product in their physical store, because you guys share a customer base.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, earlier this month, actually, I had some business cards printed up, and I had a little discount code on them for my Etsy store, say 15%, and I went around, I'm in around the Vancouver, Canada area, so I went around Yaletown, and there was a whole bunch of pet stores and vets and stuff in that area, and I went and was like, hey, I'm a local pet portrait artist. Can I put my things on your community board?
Yeah.
And I did that. I haven't really heard anything back from any results from that yet, but I don't know. What do you think? Should there be maybe a different way I could go about it, or?
Oh, the community board's definitely one way, but if you could even get, business cards or some sort of promotion that maybe like the bakery, for instance, because all of this, like, that's going to be like a higher end customer right there. Someone that they're willing to pay for, these like upscale, baked dog treats and stuff like that, like real holistic type stuff. They definitely have the money to pay for a pet portrait. And the desire, more importantly, because they clearly care a lot. If you could run some sort of offer that makes the business owner look good to their customer, like, hey, because you're buying from us at this dog bakery, like, we have partnered up with Sidekick over here, and you're going to get this, like a bonus. I would say maybe like, hey, we're going to throw in a background. Like, you're going to get an upgraded background color that you wouldn't normally get. And all you had to do was, buy this from the store. Here's your little gift, right? And, like you said, you can throw this background color on there as the upsell. You're not really going to lose anything, but you'll gain customers.
Yeah, oh my god, that's such a good idea. I should pick your brain later. If you have time. But yeah, that's a good idea. Can I tell you guys about one kind of like joint promotion I did with another Etsy seller earlier this year?
We don't want to hear anything about it. No. Stop talking. No, definitely tell us. Please tell us.
Yeah, so when I was before my sales started going up with like all the keywords and stuff, I thought one idea that I could do to kind of get myself out there a bit more was to team up with maybe another Etsy seller in the pet market. There's this Etsy shop called Catastrophic Creations, and they make super cool cat furniture. Like, you can like put them on your wall, and they look like all these really cool like jungle gyms and stuff. They're super cool. And I just kind of cold messaged them, be like, hey, I'm a pet portrait artist. I'm looking for ways to get my business out there. Could I maybe what I proposed to them was I could offer one of my pet portraits as a giveaway to their customers, because then for them they'll be like, sign up to our email list. They generated like 60 email signups because they had a large social media audience already, and the prize was my pet portrait, and in exchange for that I got my artwork in front of their audience, and they also ended up buying 3 portraits from me, so that was a nice bonus too.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
That
they had
is
3
awesome.
cats, so yeah, that worked pretty well, and they were so nice. One of the owners actually gave me some advice about how to set up my shop, which is how I did the drop down thing instead of the separate listing for the
cool.
upsells. So that was nice. Yeah,
Very
they were so lovely to work with too. Yeah.
You know, it seems like we've found that a lot with Etsy sellers. Like it truly is a community of people who are, for the most part, very happy to help one another with things that they've found that work. And you know, as people are trying to get started on Etsy, like yourself, I mean, obviously you had experience on Fiverr, but there's some people that come into Etsy totally cold, and getting up and going can kind of be a little daunting. But the community behind Etsy is just fantastic, with sellers offering advice and help and support, and like that relationship that you built with, you know, that seller there. That's fantastic. Are you thinking of doing that more? Are you going to try to reach out to some other Etsy shops maybe?
I think as soon as I figure out how to optimize all of my listings, like there's so much more I could do with that. I think like for me that's my priority. But then later, if I've maxed that out, then yeah, I would definitely consider doing more promotions like that.
Mm-hmm.
That's great.
That's
I think
awesome.
that promoting with other shops like that is great. I recommend that, you know, all sorts of sellers try that out. You know, if you sell hats but not shirts, I mean, hey, like partner up with shops that can complete the outfit.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Like that makes sense. That's what magazines do. That's what, you know, you see in a lot of these, like, you know, the things. Just because you're a small shop doesn't mean you can't do some of the things that the big brands and stuff do. Like your customers looking for a small brand, but you can still promote that way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I see a dog in the background of your. Hello. Aw.
His name
What's
is
his-
Tiggy.
Hi, Tiggy. So cute.
Thanks. Might have to get a
relevant.
portrait of him.
Yeah, hit me up.
Sounds good. That
He's
and
just like
his
period.
long lost friend.
Yeah.
We had a flat-coated retriever that we had at the
Aw.
same time as him. So maybe 2 portraits.
Ooh, I could do the matching if you like.
Matt, like in the same frame, or what do you mean?
Oh, well, if you want, I could put them both in the same frame, or I could do 2 with the same background color and like same kind of style, so they both look good together.
Oh, I like that. I'll have to think
Yeah.
about which one, but I like that.
Okay. Okay. Yeah,
Perfect.
but yeah. But yeah, like I feel like I haven't even maximized what I could do with my listings with just organic Etsy search. I could do more listings. I think I could experiment a lot more with different listing images.
Yep.
Yeah, like I tried, so I pretty much have most of my listing images really consistent. It's the same like mock-up with the frame on the radiator and
Mhm.
like a portrait with a white background, but I think I could try mixing it up a bit. Like I now have a whole bunch of really cool customer photos where it's like their dog like posing next to the framed portrait.
Nice.
you
Yeah,
can
I saw
really
one of
see, like-
those. It looked cool.
Yeah, then you can really see like, oh, it's that dog and it looks just
Yep.
like the dog and it's a physical thing.
Yep.
And like I think that would really help it stand. I think that could really catch people's eye if they're just searching and it's just all these like
Agreed.
digital things. Yeah, so I
Agreed.
want to try mixing that up, making even more listings with more keywords, and taking advantage of renewing a bit more. I haven't even really tapped that as much as I could be.
Mm-hmm.
It's funny how sometimes people will be so price sensitive about the renewing. They'll be like, oh, I don't want to pay the 20 cents. But when people go and do it and it bumps them up and they start getting the sales, it's like,
Yeah.
but if you don't do it, you're actually losing money. Like if you do it
Yeah.
and it like is working, right? You're actually making money. If you don't do it, you're leaving money on the table. And one of the other things I really like that you do is on your listings, you have like the picture, an actual picture of a cat, and then you have digitally hand painted, and you really explain it. So, you know, I understand what like digital illustrations are, but I know there's a lot of people that don't. Like, what do you mean it's digital? You know, like you draw it and then take a photo of it, and it's like, no. You know, you paint it on the computer. So it's really cool that you show kind of the different stages of the cat being drawn, but you also go to the extent you're like, hey, here's a tablet and here's a digital pen. And it's like, oh, the whole thing makes sense now. Now I understand what's going on.
Yeah, like it's so easy to get caught up in like what I know as an artist. Like sometimes this is from also experience with people trying to hire me. Like sometimes they'll be like, I need a cartoon, and I'll be like, okay, like do you mean like an animated thing? Do you mean like a comic? Like like what are you doing? Like, so people, yeah, they don't necessarily come to the table with the same amount of knowledge that you have. And I thought, yeah, like there's also other people on Etsy and they'll sell digital portraits, and I suppose they are. But like when I look at it, because of my level of experience, I can see like what they're doing is they just have the photo and they've clicked a button in Photoshop to change it so it looks like a painting.
Yeah.
But they're not really doing physical painting.
Yeah.
And I mean, on the one hand, like I don't want to be the person who's like telling people what art is defined as. And if people are
Right.
happy with the results of that, by all means, like sell that. But then a lot of the time in the comments, like it's weird because I was reading some of the reviews of those, and half of the people, I guess, who maybe don't understand what's going on, they'll be like, "It looks awesome. You're so talented. The person loved it, and I'm happy that they're happy." But then there's also other people being like, "I thought it was a real painting. Like I feel like I was ripped off and stuff." So I really wanted to make sure that my customers at least know, like, I'm not just clicking a button in Photoshop to turn your picture into a painting. I like actually am like doing every individual stroke by hand, personally. And I think that probably helps increase people's like their perception of how valuable it is, because they know like an artist is really working on my thing.
Yeah, there's time that's going into it, right? It's not like you say, like clicking a button and there you go, like, hey, filter applied, and now it looks like a painting.
Time and years of skill and training.
And I'm sure there's parts too where even based off
of that.
Yeah, the talent, and I would think that there's times where you have a photo that, you know, you have to end up changing it up a little bit. Like maybe this part is blurry or this part's covered up and they want this thing removed from the photo. So you kind of end up painting in a way that it's not simply just the photo as it was given to you.
Yeah, exactly. A lot of the times they'll be like paws cut off, or like their ears will be cut off or something.
Yeah.
Like one customer, like, oh, my dog won't let me take a photo when his ears are up. So can I give you a photo like this where its ears are down, but another one where his ears are up? And then like, can you like put his ears onto like this other one? Like, yeah, I can do that. Or like editing out like weird stuff and yeah. Oh, one of the things that a lot of my customers like is like I can draw like little flower crowns onto their pets, which are
I've
really
seen
adorable.
Those. Yeah, I was going to ask if those are in the photos or if that's something you add in.
Well, the first one, there is this cat. Well, I guess their owner, not the cat posting on Instagram, but this cat has an Instagram account, and her name is Navi. And there was one photo which she had a flower crown on, and it was so adorable. I was like, can I just paint this for you? I just want to paint it. So I did that, and I thought it looked so good, and people really liked it. So I thought maybe I can also offer this as like a thing that can kind of help me stand out a little bit.
Yeah.
And I think people really enjoy those, both because it's just cute, or like if it's for a memorial, like it's like the flowers and it's really sweet. Yeah. I totally, it's not a picture, I'd like sketch it in and illustrate it in. Yeah.
Do people ever come up with any special requests on their own, sort of kind of along those same lines of things added into the photos?
Yep, once in a while. Sometimes people will ask me to like write the animal's name into the picture. Or the one lady who had all the different cats, she wanted like a different little accessory added to all of them. So in one case it was like a bow tie, in one case it was like they were like show cats, so I did like little like medals on them and different things like that.
Cool.
Yeah.
You have Richie's dog playing poker.
Okay, that might be a little bit complicated. I don't know. It depends. If you take a photo where it looks like he's kind of up at a table, I could like draw some little poker cards on the table, I guess. I don't know. We could discuss it.
Get him like a visor.
Yeah, I could draw it in. I usually don't draw because I really base the pose on the photo. I usually don't make it completely like crazily different.
I would think that would be really hard.
Could work something out. Yeah, it would. I probably could, but it would take me a lot more time, and I'd have to charge a lot more. And
Understandable.
Yeah.
Definitely. What?
They don't play poker that often.
That we know of, anyway. I don't. They might.
That's true. They might.
Allison, what what pieces of advice would you give to somebody who's just getting started on Etsy? You know, whether or not they have a background in e-commerce elsewhere, what would you offer them right off the bat to help them be more successful earlier?
Honestly, just told me to start an Etsy store, I would tell them to sign up for your email list and do exactly what you tell them to do. It's been like the biggest improvement in what I've been doing with my shop. Like, even though I had like the copywriting and like the Photoshop skills and everything, it still wasn't taking off until I had the right keywords. So I think that's super important. I mean, I would advise them to like do really nice photos and like all the other stuff too that we've been talking about, but that's super important, doing the keywords.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really glad.
Me too. I'm glad you enjoyed that.
Yeah, it was so good. So good. Everyone should go and sign up for your thing.
We think so too.
All right, you heard it. Everyone go there and sign up.
Oh, that's fantastic.
And they're not
Thanks
paying
so much.
me to say this, by the way.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
We just have to buy a bunch of pet portraits.
I need to buy some pets first.
You do need some pets.
Or pets.
We had a bunch when I was a kid. When I was a kid, we had hamsters, a painted turtle, a guinea pig, finches, parakeets, fish. We had so many different pets, and now I don't have any.
What happened to you?
I don't know.
You have like
man.
a traumatic experience?
No,
Like
I
you
love
come from
my
a pet
hamster.
family and you're just
My
like,
hamster was
get out of
awesome.
here.
Pets can be a lot of responsibility.
Yeah, we have kids now.
Are you saying those took the place of pets?
I'm not saying that at all. But I feed them and I wash them.
That's a pretty good point. Take them to play in the yard.
Yeah, take them to the park. I love them.
I guess you could kind of fill that hole in your heart.
Yeah.
Well, this could be a fun question. What type of pet do you think would best suit Gordon? Like, so you deal with a lot of pet owners and stuff like that and paint portraits. Gordon strikes you as a what kind of pet?
This is good because I don't even know the answer.
And it could be anything, too. It could be like a rare and exotic pet.
A bunny, a really cute bunny.
A bunny. Oh, I like bunnies.
Funny.
When I was in, I think it was third grade, one of those two, we had a classroom bunny, and I got to take him home for the weekend, one weekend, and it was awesome. You'd put like you'd spread your legs apart, and he would do like figure eights around your feet. His name was Benjamin. It was cool.
Yeah, I would consider getting a rabbit if I was ever to get another pet. I currently I have a cat. Well, technically it's my boyfriend's cat, but I like help take care of her, so I've developed a feeling of ownership over her, I suppose.
Nice.
Yeah. Yeah, she. I've grown to like her so much. We didn't get along when I first moved in, but yeah, we warmed up to each other.
Whose pet was the very first pet that you ever painted?
Oh gosh. Okay, this would have been 2 years ago on Fiverr, I guess. I'm not sure I totally remember, to be honest. Do you want me to
So it
look
was a
up?
customer then. It wasn't
Yeah.
like a friend or family member or something like that.
No, it was definitely a customer.
Cool. That's
Yeah,
cool.
I did end up doing one for our friends since then, but yeah, usually it's just people order them for me.
Very cool.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Any closing questions or thoughts, Richie?
Not really. I was really, I think she nailed it with the bunny, though. The rabbit. I mean, you had that story that you really connected with right there. So, maybe that's something you could throw in there too. With your...
Ooh, that could be my new service, Animal Psychic. I'll interpret which animal that you identify with, and then, yeah.
Right? So someone sends you a picture of a cat, and you're like, you also strike me as someone that would be really good owning a rabbit. Next thing you know, they go and get a rabbit, and then boom, you got another portrait to do.
Artificially inflate the market by getting people to get more pets.
Yes. You know what? Actually, that's a good idea too. I was talking about like partnering up with like brick and mortar dog breeders. Yeah. I mean, you are dropping some serious coin on a purebred dog, right? Mm-hmm. So, especially some of these like boutique kind of brands like the English Bulldogs and stuff like that, right? Those things are expensive, and you're signing up for a lot of money in medical bills and stuff like that too, because they need it. Not sure how much you guys know about English Bulldogs, but they have high medical expenses and stuff like that.
They're cool looking, though.
They are awesome looking, right? And they ride skateboards. So, the people who are buying that, right? You hook up with the breeder there, and again, offer some sort of bonus, right? So they sweetens the deal for everybody, right? So like, hey, I'm going to give it to you like a bigger portrait or the background, something like that. But already, you've got a really good customer. And hey, get one while they're a puppy, and then get one when they're grown up, right? They're not going to be a puppy forever, so don't take your time. Like, make sure you get that portrait soon. And then when they're grown up, you get another one. So then for every dog, you get two.
Yeah, like the different life stages, I can totally see doing that. Yeah, I'm not...
It's a teenager.
Yeah, teenage with a graduation portrait from like puppy training school. They could have the hat and everything.
That's another great idea. Puppy training schools. And you can put the little hats on them. Imagine how cute that would be.
Oh, that is a good idea. I could sell them like, oh, well, okay. The other thing is, I actually have a limit to how many of these I can sell because I'm just one person and I have to like completely customize all of them by hand. So like once I hit a certain number of sales, actually in order to grow, I'll have to increase the price or something. Like I can't just indefinitely sell. Like I guess I could hire an artist assistant or something, but that would be like a whole other thing. And then it wouldn't be just me doing them. So
you just keep raising your prices.
Yeah.
I mean, hey, you're buying a $3,000 bulldog. I think you can, have a $100 portrait of your bulldog. It's not going to be a puppy for long, Pretty soon it's going to be off riding skateboards, stuff like that, like, right?
Yeah.
So.
I'd love if there was some way that I could collaborate or something, maybe with like pet shelters or something. I'm much more of a proponent of adopting animals. So many that need homes and stuff, and like don't really need to make more. Even though I can't deny that I love the results. They're so adorable, like all the little toy breeds. But yeah.
I get what you're saying, and I think you could partner up with the shelters too. And again, I think you could actually charge a little bit more. Like you could have higher prices still because you could then donate some of that money to a shelter.
Yeah.
And that makes people feel more generous as well.
Yeah, I'd love to be able to bring some kind of animal advocacy or charity or something into my business as it grows.
Yeah.
Something
I'm passionate about. That could be a great way to do it.
Yeah.
Definitely. You make some pet portraits of animals that are up for adoption, and that could be a really good way to help them get adopted even. Yeah. I've heard, for instance, that photographers will donate some of their time to go take really like good photos of the pets because, as we know from e-commerce in general, good photos are necessary to sell something. So, just the normal kind of like dark and dingy photo of this dog isn't really doing it justice. It's not showing like how cute and lovable this dog is going to be in your home.
Yeah, and one of the local shelters' websites I saw, they had like this little segment on their blog where this artist would do a little like caricature of like the individual cats to like bring out their little personalities. I thought that was really cute.
That is cool.
Another idea I had was maybe like, because if I was able to offer a thing which I don't have to paint it individually each time, like I could maybe do like printable artwork of a pet or something, and then I could just like sell those and I don't have to like repaint it every time, and maybe I could donate a part of it to animal welfare or something.
I like that.
Maybe. I don't know. Yeah.
No, these are great ideas.
I was going to say even digital paintings of well-known pets or like well-known animal characters,
Yeah, I could go and talk to Grumpy Cat and make a sponsored printable artwork.
There you go.
Yeah. Beethoven.
Yeah. Yeah.
101 Dalmatians. I don't know if you can do 101 Dalmatians. I'm not sure how you
Secret Life of Pets yet?
I haven't yet.
I just took my daughter to see that like a couple weekends ago, and she loved it. It was cute. It was a good movie.
Yeah, I've seen the trailers. It looks really cute. I did see Zootopia finally recently. That one was really good.
I haven't seen that one yet.
I would recommend it. It was enjoyable.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, I haven't enjoyed an animated movie like that for a while, even though,
Oh, nice.
yeah, I'm usually really into them, but
Nice. Yeah, I kind of like the animated movies too. I don't know.
yeah, I like them. But as I've been getting a bit older, maybe I've seen a lot of good ones already, so it takes more to impress me, but Zootopia impressed me.
Yeah. Well, very cool. Thank you so much, Allison, for sharing so much time with us. And you covered so many really cool things that I think a lot of people are going to be really excited to hear about. So thank you so much for sharing all of your knowledge that you've gathered, along the way in your journey here. And it sounds like your shop is doing fantastic. And I mean, we wish you even more success, and hopefully you hit that mark that you're shooting for, and soon too for you. And it sounds like it's going really well. So hopefully that continues.
Yeah. Thank you so much for having me on. It was such a great talk, and I hope maybe some people could be helped by what I shared. I'm so happy about this. Thank you, and thanks for the wonderful tools and education that you put out there. They really help a lot of people.
Awesome! It's so nice to hear. You're welcome. I'm so glad. For everyone else, if you want to be a guest on the show, feel free to reach out to us at success@marmalead.com. Allison can probably tell you that we weren't like super mean to her in the pre-interview or anything like that. It's not like we're just being fake during the actual interview.
No, I was nervous at first, but they helped me calm down a bit.
Oh, you did great.
Yeah, thank you.
So, if that's something you're interested in, reach out to us. We'd love to talk to you too. Allison, thank you again so much. It's been fantastic. For everyone else, we'll see you guys next time on Etsy Jam.